Dear students, today we are going to discuss about the heating effect and its application. First of all, we will discuss about the heating effect of electric current. Then we will discuss about the Joule's law of heating, and last one we will discuss about some applications of heating effect of current. So first of all, we'll see what is meant by heating effect of electric current. So from the word itself, it is clear that there is some relation between heat and current. So it is the production of heat. It is the phenomenon which results in the production of heat. How heat is produced? Because of the flow of current through a resistor. That is known as heating effect of current. Because of the flow of current through a resistor, heat energy is produced, and that phenomenon is known as heating effect of electric current. Okay. So we can write the phenomenon of the production of heat in a resistor by the flow of an electric current through it is known as heating effect of electric current. Okay. Is it clear to everyone? So it is related to heat flowing or heat developed in a resistor because of the flow of current. That phenomenon is known as heating effect of electric current. Now we will discuss Joule's law of heating. This was the experimental observation done by Joule. So what he noticed is that whenever current is flowing through a resistor, heat energy is produced. This is very simple thing, common thing that you might have noticed whenever current is flowing through a wire, that wire is getting heated up. Isn't it? And the heat energy depends on which parameters. He did experimental observation. From that experimental observation, he arrived at a law that is known as Joule's law of heating. So what he noticed is that you yourself might have noticed or observed, if current is flowing for a longer time, what happens? Whether heat energy will be produced more or less? Yes, heat energy produced will be more. Similarly, if more current is flowing, what happens? Heat energy produced will be more. Similarly, if the resistance of the material is large, what happens? The heat energy again produced will be larger. So that is the experimental observation. So that can be written as a statement according to which we can write the heat energy produced in a resistor. According to Joule's law of heating, we can say the heat energy produced in a resistor is directly proportional to the square of current. It is not proportional to current, it is directly proportional to the square of the current. Then it is directly proportional to the resistance. And last one, it is directly proportional to the time for which the current flows through the resistor. So if you combine all these three, in one by one we can write. First one, if we are writing heat energy as H, first what we can write, heat energy is directly proportional to square of the current. Which letter is used to represent current? I. No. So we can write H is proportional to I square. Second one, what we can write, H is proportional to resistance. Heat energy is directly proportional to the resistance. So we can write H is proportional to R. Third one, it is directly proportional to the time for which the current flows. So we can write H is proportional to T. So if you combine all these three, what you will get? You will get the expression of Joule's law of heating. No. You can write H is proportional to I squared R into T. H is proportional to I squared RT. That we can write here. H is proportional to I squared RT. Where H is, what is meant by H? H is the heat energy, I is the current, R is the resistance, and T is the time. So whenever you are solving problems related to this, you have to keep only one thing in mind, that all should be represented in SI units. Now, when we remove the proportionality symbol, what happens? A constant will be there, no? Yes. So here H is current, H is heat energy, I is current, and R is resistance, and T is time. So H is equal to I squared RT. whenever we are removing that proportionality symbol, a constant comes, and here the value of that constant is 1. So we'll get the equation as H is equal to I squared RT. So Joule's law of heating, we can write H is equal to I squared RT, where H is the heat energy, I is the current, R is the resistance, and T is the time. Okay, once again I am repeating. According to Joule's law of heating, we can say heat energy produced in a resistor is directly proportional to the square of current, directly proportional to resistance, and directly proportional to the time for which the current flows. So mathematical equation we can write H is equal to I squared RT. H is heat energy, I is current, R is resistance, and T is time. And what's the unit of heat energy? Yes, unit of heat energy is Joule. And sometimes in problems they will give time as seconds. So if the problem is related to Joule's law of heating, you have to convert that time. If it is given in seconds, directly you can write it as that same value. But if it is given in minutes or hours, you have to convert that into seconds, because seconds is the SI unit of time. Okay, is it clear? Now we will discuss some applications of heating effect of electric current. So the main application is in household heating appliances only. So different appliances, that what we are using room heater, electric toaster, electric iron, electric oven, electric kettle, geyser, etc. All are based on the heating effect of electric current. No. And these all appliances mainly use nichrome as the heating element. Okay, we are in all these appliances we are using nichrome as the heating element because of the following reason. There are some reasons why we are choosing only nichrome as the heating element. Nichrome is not an element, nichrome is an alloy. Okay, it is an alloy. Normally we are choosing nichrome as the heating element because of the following reason. Which are the reasons? First one, it should have high melting point. Why high melting point is needed? If it is not high melting point, what happens? When excess heat is flowing or when excess current is flowing, it will melt and it will break the circuit. No. So it should have high melting point. And next property is that it should have large resistivity. So nichrome we are using as heating element because of the following reason. First one, high melting point, large resistivity, then it can be easily drawn into small wires. You might have seen this. Have you seen electric iron box? Have you opened that one? No need to open. But if it is damaged one, you can open and see what is the that it is what nichrome element you can see there. So what's the specialty of that nichrome heating element is that it can be drawn into small wires. You can make very thin wires by using that. Okay. And the last property is that it is not easily oxidized. When it is in contact with oxygen in the atmosphere, it will not get oxidized. Okay. So these are the 4 properties by which we are using nichrome as the heating element. Nichrome is not an element. Don't get confused. Nichrome element. Nichrome element means that nichrome is used as heating element. Okay. Is it clear? So which are the properties by which we are using nichrome as heating element? It is having high resistivity. It is having high melting point. It can be easily drawn into small wires and it is not easily oxidized. Okay. So because of these 4 reasons, normally we are using heating element for different electrical appliances as nichrome. Second application of heating effect of electric current. That is in incandescent electric bulb. Incandescent electric bulb means a normal bulb you might have seen with the filament inside. Have you seen nowadays LEDs are available? No, LEDs and tube lights. LED tube lights are available or CFLs are available. Before that you might have seen bulbs, normal bulbs with some filament inside. Have you seen? Yes, that is known as incandescent electric bulb. And in incandescent electric bulb, Normally the filament used is tungsten. It is tungsten. And why we are using tungsten as filament? There are some reasons. One is because of its high melting point and its high resistivity. Its melting point, you can see that value is 3380 degrees Celsius. So you can imagine how much larger value it is. So because at that high temperature it will become red hot and heat energy will be produced. Simultaneously light energy is produced, but heat energy produced will be more than light energy. That's why more energy wastage is there. We want light energy, but we get less light energy. More efficiency is less. That's why these incandescent electric bulbs were replaced by CFLs and recently replaced by LEDs. Okay. So why we are using tungsten? Because of two reasons. One is high melting point and second one is high resistivity. Is it clear to everyone? Okay. Now we'll discuss the third application of heating effect, that is in electric fuse. So this word fuse is familiar to you. At least you might have seen in your homes electric fuse. No. So for what purpose it is used? Can you say? Yes. It is a safety device used to protect electrical appliances from strong currents. If excess current flows through a wire, what happens if excess current flows through household circuits or anywhere? This excess current should be blocked in such a way that electrical appliances should be safe. For that purpose, we are using electric fuse. So normally we are using an alloy of tin and lead as electric fuse. And why we are using that alloy of tin and lead for electric fuse? There are some reasons. One reason is that it should have high resistivity. Why high resistivity? If resistivity is high, resistance will be high, more heat energy will be produced. And it should have low melting point. Why low melting point is needed? If high melting point is there, what happens? More heat energy flows also, it will not melt, it will not break the circuit. Fuse will be safe, but what happens? The other appliances connected in the circuit will be damaged. No. For the safety of the appliances, we are using fuse. So appliances will get damaged, but fuse will be in safe condition if it were having high melting point. So fuse wire should have high resistivity and low melting point, and it is normally made from tin and lead. Okay. So today which topics we discussed? We discussed about the heating effect of electric current. What is meant by heating effect of electric current? We discussed about Joule's law of heating, which says that heat energy produced is directly proportional to square of current, directly proportional to resistance, and directly proportional to time, or we can write H is equal to I squared RT. Then we discuss some practical applications of heating effect of electric current. There we discussed about why we are using nichrome in heating, nichrome as heating element in what devices, no, like iron box or heater or room heater or water heater. In that, why we are using nichrome element. Then we discussed about electric fuse and electric fuse we discussed. So these are the various topics that we discussed, and why we are, and one more thing we discussed about incandescent bulbs and why tungsten is used in incandescent bulb also we discussed. So the important properties, why we are using fuse in an electric circuit, why, for what purpose it is used? It is used to protect that devices, appliances which are connected in the circuit, and it should have high resistivity and low melting point, and it is normally made from an alloy of tin and lead. And problems related to heating effect of electric current we will discuss next in the next class. Okay, thank you.